If you are doing everything that you can and you still feel mentally drained, overstimulated, behind, well then this episode is for you, my friend. Today, we're naming the real reason that modern parenting feels mentally draining, emotionally heavy, and why this struggle is not a personal failure. We'll talk about the mismatch between human biology and modern systems, what traditional caregiving practices can help us to understand intuitively, and how remembering a few child development truths can bring immediate relief. This episode isn't about fixing yourself or your parenting. It's about understanding the bigger picture so that you can stop carrying this unnecessary blame and find relief. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right? You're reading all of the books, you're following all of the advice, yet something still feels off in your parenting. You wonder why parenting is feeling so heavy when it's supposed to feel natural, right? Do you feel the pressure to do more when what you really need is permission to do less? If that sounds familiar, you're not failing, and nothing is wrong with you. Welcome to Nature to Nurture, the podcast where we talk about raising healthy families by returning to what has always supported children best: connection, community, and nature. I'm Tiffany, a mother of twins, an early childhood advocate, and a family and early childhood educator. This is a space where we focus on small, meaningful shifts, on connection over control, on rhythm over rigidity, and on presence over performance, so that families can feel more supported, grounded, and confident in the way that they're raising their children. As you listen today, I invite you to take this episode with you, step outside, go for a walk, breathe in some fresh air, and let this conversation meet you exactly where you are. Let's dive in. Real quick, before we begin, if these words are landing for you, go ahead and hit that follow button. It's the easiest way to make sure that you don't miss the small but powerful insights that support your children, yourself, and the way that you want to show up. There have been seasons in my parenting where the days feel heavy before they even begin. I'm standing in the kitchen early in the morning, the coffee's getting cold, the house is already loud, and I feel it in my body. That familiar tightness in my chest. The sense that everyone needs something from me at once, including the dogs. I love my children deeply, and I care so much about doing right by them. And yet, there are still mornings when I feel mentally drained before 8 o'clock, already wondering if what I'm giving them is what they need. What's hardest in those moments isn't the noise, it's not the mess, it's not even the behavior that's going on. It's that quiet voice that's in my head that's telling me, why is it so hard? All of these other parents seem to handle this. I should be more patient. I should be better at this. What is wrong with me? And that's the moment that I hear from so many other parents and caregivers. It's that mix of exhaustion and self-doubt. That wanting to slow down, but feeling like the day just won't let you. You care so deeply, but you're feeling overstimulated and stretched thin. For a long time, I thought that meant that I was missing something. Maybe I needed another tool or a strategy, another way to do this better. Maybe I needed to heal something in me, which definitely I probably did and I'm still working on. But I came to understand something that is very important and very different than this, it's my problem, it's me. I'm not Taylor Swift, but maybe it's me, I'm the problem. No. I came to understand something very different. You see, parenting feels hard not because we're failing our children, but because we're trying to raise them in these systems that move faster than our bodies, that move faster than our relationships were really ever meant to. And when that truth finally started to settle in, something started to soften in me. It's not because things got easier overnight, because trust me, they did not. But it was because I stopped treating my exhaustion like it was my flaw. I stopped asking what's wrong with me, and I started asking a different question. What are we trying to do that's going against how humans are meant to raise children? What's the mismatch here? Why is this not working? Because when we look at child development through that lens, through biology, through nervous system health, traditional caregiving practices, so much of the reasons that we're struggling start to become clear and make sense. There are a few core truths about child development that change everything when we're feeling overwhelmed, and it's not because they give you more to do, but it's because they help you carrying what was never truly yours to hold alone. So let's talk about those truths and why understanding them can bring you some real relief. Modern systems are misaligned with child development. You see, modern parenting asks adults to do developmentally relational work in these systems that were designed not for relationships, but for efficiency and for output. Raise your hand if this is you. Most days, the caregiving that you provide is actually happening in the margins. It's happening between the meetings, between the errands, the notifications, the deadlines, the expectations. Child development, it's slow. It's relational. It's repetitive. And modern life is fast, fragmented, and performance-based. That mismatch, it creates chronic stress. Not only for children, but also for you, the caregivers, the parents. If parenting feels exhausting, I want you to ask yourself, what am I trying to do that was never actually meant to be done at this pace? That question alone right there can help you to soften some of that self-blame. Oftentimes we find ourselves comparing ourselves to what we think parents should be doing, what we see other parents doing. And we don't take into account our environment and our own personal situation and how it just doesn't fit. Again, there's that mismatch. Let's talk about something that may have been poking at you silently, intuitively. We're going to talk about traditional caregiving and how it's built on responsiveness and not on being the perfect parent. In many traditional cultures, children were simply nearby all the time. They're watching, they're imitating, they're being responded to as a part of daily life, not scheduling it. You see, they weren't looking for someone to be the babysitter because kids were there all the time, period. Their life. I'm going to jump back in and talk about serve and return. I know we spoke about that on the last episode, and I'm going to bring it back in here because guess what? Serve and return in relationships, it's not a new concept. It's how humans have actually always raised children. Adults noticed a child, they responded, and they included their children in their daily life. It was consistent. Serve and return, serve and return, serve and return. Caregiving wasn't a separate task. You see, it's woven into cooking and working and resting and being together and having fun. This way of caring for children, it's not just historical. In fact, we see that many cultures still practice this form of caregiving. In many non-Western cultures and Latin cultures, you can see the value of familialism and interdependence. You see caregiving, it's shared, it's relational, it's embedded in everyday actions. Family needs often come before individual convenience, and care, it's understood as a responsibility, not just that, as a sacred duty, rather than being seen as a burden. Children are held in this rhythm of family life. They're responded to, they're included, they're supported, not because it is efficient, but because that's what keeps the family system healthy. Serve and return happens naturally in environments, not as a strategy, but as a way of being. If you want to dive a little bit deeper into this traditional form of caregiving, I encourage you to check out the book Hunt, Gather, Parent by Micheline Duclef. I'll link it down in the show notes as well, so you can check that out. It is an amazing book that looks at a couple of different cultures, including in Africa, in South America, and in Inuit territory as well, I believe. The main point that I really want to make sure that you're hearing here is that children don't need you to constantly engage with them, but they need to be attunedly present, right? Serve and return happens naturally when we're not rushing, when we're not multitasking consistently, and when we trust our instincts. I want you to choose one part of your day today that you can slow down. Maybe it's during a meal, or a transition, or a bedtime. And again, you don't have to make it, this is what we're going to do, and I'm going to make sure that they're cooking with me and engaging with me. No. But they're there with you. You're there with them. Maybe they're in the next room and you can still talk to them while you're there. Be aware. This does not mean that you have to make it perfect, but make it human. While our lives may not look like lives in the past, our nervous systems and our children's nervous systems are still responding to care in the same way. Let's get a little bit deeper into how our nervous systems are responding, because it's not great, guys. Parents are overstimulated because they were never meant to really do this alone. Parental burnout is not a failure of resilience. It's actually a huge warning alarm of isolation. Research consistently shows us that parental burnout is linked to the lack of support, not to the lack of love on the parent's end or effort or knowledge. Regulation is meant to be a shared practice, co-regulation. Without enough support, the nervous system stays activated. So instead of asking yourself, why can't I handle this better? I want you to try asking yourself, what support is missing that parents used to have? This simple question can shift the weight off of your shoulders and maybe help you find what you need to reach out for. You see, this is why so many parents feel a quiet pull towards slowing down, simplifying, and reconnecting with what feels more natural. This is not a trend. This is not a backward step. This is something that you can see throughout societies, that we're constantly looking to slow down. When we understand child development through this wider lens, through this biology, the culture, the relationship, so much of the pressure falls away. It's not learning that we need to do. It's a remembering. I want you to remember as we close out today that parenting feels hard because our systems don't support our caregiving. Our pace ignores biology, and our culture asks parents to perform instead of relate. But I want you to remember, nothing's wrong with you. I know understanding this doesn't fix everything, but it changes how you carry it. Before you move on with your day, I invite you to pause and reflect on this question. Where are you blaming yourself for something that's actually a systems problem? If this question opened up something for you, please come share it over in our Facebook group. You're not solving this alone. We are naming it together. Thank you so much for joining me today on Nature to Nurture. I really do hope that each of these conversations help you feel more supported and understood on your parenting or caregiving journey. And if you found value in today's episodes, please don't forget to follow the podcast and hop on over into our free community on Facebook, where we continue to share mini moments, wise words, and genuine support. As we wrap up, I'll leave you with this. Just remember, even on the hardest days, that a small moment of connection can make all of the difference for your child and for you. Until next time, take care, and I'm here with you every step of the way.